When Avengers Endgame pulled in over $1 billion at the global box office, it left the fictional world inside the screen grieving. Tony Stark was dead, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe was left staring at a massive power vacuum. Peter Parker is exhausted. He survived a trip to space, a fight with an alien warlord, and 5 years of non-existence. He leaves his high-tech iron spider suit in his closet, opting instead to pack his bags and just be a normal 16-year-old kid on summer vacation. The narrative leaves the familiar streets of Queens behind. Peter's itinerary takes him across the Atlantic, dropping him into the grand canals of Venice and the historic centers of Europe. He suspends his daily patrols to run as fast as he can from an entire planet demanding that he replace a dead god. But Tony Stark couldn't let his protege go empty-handed. From beyond the grave, he leaves Peter a parting gift, a sleek pair of aviator sunglasses called EDITH. The acronym stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. It grants the wearer backdoor access to every piece of data on Earth. It intercepts messages, logs searches, and commands orbital killer drones. This unchecked surveillance state has zero oversight, no kill switches, and no separation of powers. Yet Stark handed authorization for the entire network to a 17-year-old on a school trip. The film plays this reality for laughs. Peter accidentally orders a tactical drone strike on a classmate because he doesn't know how to navigate the user interface. EDITH stands as proof that Stark's defining arrogance outlived him. His so-called heroic legacy actually saddles Peter with an ethical nightmare disguised as a gift. Enter Quentin Beck. He arrives shrouded in green mist, presenting himself as a seasoned warrior from another dimension, arriving to protect Earth from massive, destructive elemental monsters. The multiverse backstory is entirely fabricated. Beck is actually a disgruntled engineer who used to work directly for Tony Stark. He rallied a team of other marginalized Stark employees to weaponize a piece of holographic technology Stark once publicly humiliated him over, the so-called BARF system. Together, they choreograph fake super battles to manufacture a new superhero. Beck doesn't attack Peter with lasers or bombs. He targets Peter's crippling imposter syndrome. By acting as the supportive mentor Tony Stark never fully was, Beck tricks Peter into voluntarily handing over the EDITH classes. Mysterio arrives as the weaponized collateral damage of Stark's corporate history, returning to exploit the vulnerabilities of his young protege. Stranded and bruised in the Netherlands, Peter finds himself without a suit, a mentor, or a plan. Every technological safety net Stark provided has either been stripped away or handed to a madman. He gains access to a Stark fabricator, but instead of rebuilding an Iron Man clone, he alters the schematics. He designs his own web shooters and sews his own patterns, making the choice to be Spider-Man. The final confrontation zeroes in on Tower Bridge in London, where Beck has positioned his massive, lethal drone swarm. Peter faces a nearly impossible tactical problem. He can't fight what he can't trust. Beck's illusions warp reality, hiding deadly physical drones inside massive, fake holographic monsters. The high-tech lenses in his suit are useless against the holograms, so Peter shuts his eyes completely. He drops the gadgets and relies entirely on his biological spider sense, his Peter tingle, to map the physical threats buzzing around his head. He punches through the illusions and destroys the drones. He wins because he stops looking at the world through Stark's screens and starts trusting himself. Peter wins the physical fight, but the victory is short-lived. Bleeding out on the bridge, Mysterio manages to trigger one final, devastating contingency plan using the remaining drones. We quickly learn the situation was far more precarious than it seemed. The Nick Fury and Maria Hill coordinating the mission on Earth were never actually there. They were shape-shifting Skrulls. The real Nick Fury is stationed deep in orbit, spearheading a massive intergalactic defense organization known as SWORD. This massive orbital command center signals the Marvel Cinematic Universe pivoting away from grounded, earthbound conflicts and gearing up for cosmic-level threats. It also reframes the entire movie. The adults abandoned their posts. The Avengers were off the board, leaving an unequipped teenager on a class trip completely alone to disarm a global extinction machine. That brings us back to Mysterio's contingency. Using the footage his drones recorded, Beck doctors a video to make it look like Spider-Man ordered the attack on London. He leaks this manipulated footage straight to the media pundit J. Jonah Jameson, who broadcasts it to millions. Across the massive digital billboards of Times Square, Mysterio reveals Peter Parker's name and face to a stunned global audience. Peter forged his own identity and stepped out of his mentor's shadow, but he couldn't escape the fallout of Stark's hubris. Tony Stark's unchecked, unethical technology stripped away Peter's anonymity, leaving him permanently exposed on the world stage.